Hey everybody. Rob Gauthier, the ET Whisperer. Welcome to April's rendition of the Pleiadian Pulse, the energy update and forecast, where Aridif talks about what's going on with the energy and kind of puts his finger on the pulse of the greater energy for our collective. And I hope you guys really enjoy it. I know for myself, this is a very special video. This is the 500th video on the ET Whisperer YouTube channel. Obviously, there's a lot more than that. There's a lot of unlisted videos from Patreon, and there's a lot of videos that were way back early on when I first started publicly channeling for the first 2 or 3 years, I think. I started in 2010, and 2013 or 14 might be the first videos you find. But I learned to refine my channeling, and kind of when I knew that my channeling was really, really good, then that's when I kind of cut off the old archives. But they're still existing. They're still back there. You can kind of go and listen to that. But right now, the energy for this month, that's really important. April's going to be a big month. I know it's been a really crazy month for me and my family and loved ones. And I hope you guys are faring well. Things are okay here. I'm just excited to be here with you guys, and I'm going to try to get these energy updates out from the Pleiadian Pulse a little bit earlier every month. I just want to let you guys know how much I love you, appreciate you for supporting us. If you want to check out anything for the ET Whisperer, you can just go to the website, etwhisper.com. There's coursework, there's a lot of other stuff, and it's the channel panel is also going to be coming in November on the East Coast in West Virginia, so we have more information coming out. If you want to keep up with what's going on, either with the ET Whisperer or the channel panel, you can go to the respective websites, join the email list. And if not, just listen to this and enjoy it. And I hope you guys really enjoy it. I love you. And I'll see you guys on the other side.
Greetings to all. This is Aridif. That is Aridif. And this is it spelled. We understand all of you desire to know more about the time frame in which you perceive as April in your own time, linear experience, and of course, we will go into that construct in a moment, but before diving into that construct, we first express the two things that we have always expressed. The first, above and beyond all things that are expressed in this day, to know, to feel, and to perceive that you are loved in our perspective is of the utmost importance. Secondly, it is our greatest excitement, and within that same form of great excitement in which we co-create with you, not only in this singular individual co-creative form, but in a greater collective sense, and that is truly our excitement as well. Now, as you perceive the time frame in which you call April, the energy within the month of April, of course, shifts throughout the entirety of the time. The first week is a creative week. Self-awareness occurs with most humans in that collective, and of course there are multiple waves. Consciousness inside of the human collective, and pendant upon which wave you are experiencing will be pendant upon which experience is more in alignment. Now, of course, free will dictates all things, and your own process within co-creation and creation are what dictates, and one aspect of that is vitally important is that of action and that of belief systems, and both frame the entirety of the reference. So what we share is the energy and of course the flow of that energy, so that you are able to understand when within that time is supportive of what energy is in the greater collective sense. So in that creative sense, the first week as you go through, there's a great deal of self-exploration, a great deal of self-recognition, a great deal of excitement that can be built upon to create with, and of course the energy in your own consciousness working towards projects, working towards co-creations, and working on your own creative forms of energy are important to work with in that first week and time frame as it is most supported. So all of the things that have been created within your mental state, all of the way back from the end of your last month time period in the fall period, late summer and early fall period, these things will start being a thought form created into organization and now created towards action. So of course, when you place your own action within that frame of reference towards those energies that held genesis in your last year, or that you have been building thought processes from since that last year, now is the time to act upon that energy with your own excitement. Now, of course, it is a multi-directional force in which you can act upon. You can act upon those things that are most simple. In your mindset, you can work upon the things that are most difficult, but as long as you hold both passion and action and support belief systems, that energy in the first week to first 9 days of your April energy are the place in which you are most supported for that. Now, of course, this is simply upon your own self-creation with creativity or with energies that support communities, but there's still a great deal of self-interpretation that must be done. Now, of course, this is a never-ending process in the Earth experience as you are incarnated into a place where self-introspection is reciprocal construct with those that you love, reciprocal with those that you co-create with when the energy is healthy and when the energy is supportive with the co-creation at hand. So in that space, place the energy of intention towards what and whom you desire to co-create with, because these energies are important as well. Understanding who you are co-creating with in that time frame gives better reference, gives better possible manifestations, and allows you to act in the ways that you yourself can. Now, when you look at the self-introspection, it is important to recognize your own self as a part of a collective, not only as an individual. Yes, it is important all the time to perceive yourself as an individual and perceive yourself as a part of the greater collective. But in the last months leading to this moment, there are times where the self-introspection has not been deep enough. There have been times where you yourself may have been confused by the energy of what you are doing in life and who you are doing it with, and those can be clearer in this time frame. That can be a self-introspection where you are letting go of that veil of mystery that sits between yourself and others, that sits between yourself and your understanding of those dynamics, and release that which does not need to be held inside of your heart and mind, and act upon that which does require building, that which requires time and the manifestation of action intentionally. And this energy, of course, will be helpful. Now, in the creative sense, those that hold creative arts, those that are artists, those that are musicians, those that are actors, those that simply place your own excitement in some creative form that gives others pleasure. This is also a time of energy that can be worked with in more strength. Now you go to your second week of the collective, and those that were in the wave that aligns with that first week, the energy of the second week will start caring for those in that second wave. So those of you that are not feeling in alignment with the creative sense, with self-understanding, with group dynamics and community, then of course look forward to the very end of that first week, beginning of the second week within the 6 to 9 day period of your month, and carry on the second week, as it were, in the first description. Now, of course, those who work with alignment, with the concept of your first week already past you and worked within that creative construct, there may be manifestations of dynamics where choices are required, where you are faced at that fork in the road, where all of the energy that you have been working with, that you have been working to manifest, comes into your mindset, into your awareness, or into your physical manifestation, and the fork in the road is laid. This is the time period in which only passion can drive forward better, more extensive creations. Now, what we mean by this is, yes, some of you are excited by the concept of working with certain energies, or concepts of certain projects, but some excitements are not from a place of excitement. They simply come as an opportunity to perceive that if I do this, it is slightly better than if I do what I have been doing, or vice versa. Needing to shift gears is slightly better than what I have been doing. And of course, most humans will not identify this as a true level of excitement, but what we share, this is true level of excitement. If you cannot muster true, great, passionate excitement, then of course what feels better will be the indicator of excitement. Now be wary of that energy when you co-create from places of fear. Now, of course, this is true in all moments, but especially in this second week time period of your April energy. The construct of working towards something because you are fearful, or working towards a construct, and when faced with that fork in the road, going down the path that seems less scary. This is an indicator for you to go deep within the introspection and construct of self-awareness that you worked on within the first week was building to co-create that level of energy for you, to have deeper levels of understanding in that moment. Should I allow my fear that if I do something that is different, if I work on something that I have always desired but have not worked out, that is not a decision made from excitement, it is a decision made from fear. So of course it will be more obvious with you when you start acting in a way that truly benefits yourself. Yes, there may be anxiety, yes, there may be fears, yes, you may be confronted with oneself, but in that moment it is a perfect, opportune expression of your own manifestation that will show the greater pathway. And by working in that level of excitement, it helps overcome secondary energy. Now, of course, for the third week of energy, those who are on that secondary wave will start experiencing that which we have just expressed in the second week. And of course, as it builds forward, the energies shift again. Now, there are many things in the greater collective that span through the entirety of the month, from the second half of your first week on to the first portion of the third week. And these are greater collective energies that deal with the collective global sins of your Earth and the planetary collective at hand. These energies include some of the forms of secrets that have been unavailable to you will start having recognition within the consciousness of the Earth. More humans will start perceiving the things that you've been told for handfuls of years. Start perceiving the lack of truth within that concept. Others will perceive hundreds or even thousands of years of misrepresentation of energy or ideas, and be able to start working with a better level of clarity when it is involved in that co-creation. And of course, as you may perceive, some of that which is misrepresented comes from a deep level of those that would try to convey falsities to you, those that would try to hide truths or misguide you, but others are simple lack of awarenesses. Others are thinking that the collective had found an answer and realizing in that moment it is not. Some of this may come through in manifestation of ancient secrets kept through excavation. Some of the energy may come through mistranslated scripts through your history. Some will come in whistleblowers telling secrets that are occurring behind the scenes in governmental structures, or structures of power in the concept of economy. All of this energy is highly available for the collective energy. From that end of the first week through the beginning portion of third week in the greater collective, now going into the third week itself, on a personal journey, most of you will still feel that unsurety. Most of you still will need to work through the self-identification of your experience, of your community, of those that are closest with you, and those that may desire to be close with you, or you desire to be close with him. And those energies will be able to manifest more clear ideals. Those entities that you perhaps are having troubles to let go of, or having difficulties in discerning whether those are a perfect fit for you or not, will show you more plainly that the decisions that you are going through need to be made, and will show you the best way for you to make that decision. Discernment is always within the heart, regardless of what month, year, or century that you exist in. Let that not be different in that moment. Let yourself allow the energy of the consciousness internally through the heart, and then through the mental body, and not through the mental body first, then to the heart center. Now, as you're going through that experience, letting go of energies that have been difficult, or getting new experiences of co-creating with new energies, there will be traumatized parts of your own past that will come call to you to make peace with. Some of this comes in form of difficult and broken relationships that re-represent themselves. Someone that you have not heard from for months or years that has traumatized you or done you wrong may reach out to you in that moment. Perhaps you will find some old writing of yours, old pictures or videos that will bring memories of that old trauma up, but this time would be one of the greater times in the experience of the month for these types of representations to be manifest inside of your personal experiences. Now, of course, processing this in the same fashion, working with the heart, but also allowing yourself to be subtle with the feeling of energy that you are taking in. You'll feel intensely, but allow yourself the subtlety in processing. If you try to force processing when it is not ready for these old traumas, then of course you're only stirring the pot more deeply and violently and creating more resistance or more traumas of the past in order in that moment to be dealt with. Instead, allow yourself to let that trickle inside of your energy if you desire to let go of that resistance in the least painful way. Now, some of you will have no choice in the matter. In energetically speaking, your archetype of consciousness does not allow trickling. It only allows the pouring in of great energy and the spewing out of great energy. It does not allow subtleties whatsoever. So for those of you who deal with this energy, it may be the most intensive time of your month in April. Now, of course, the energy, whether it be subtle or whether it be harsh in the way that you experience it, the processing still is something that will come into your awareness whether you desire it or not, and the energy that you relay in that moment will help teach you in the coming months of how better to deal with other experiences. So even if you perceive yourself as failing in the way you interact with others, in the way that you react to others' energies in that very moment, then of course it will help teach you better ways. Now, if you work with that energy and react in very positive ways, it will be an easier transition and one that will help you in future times release more and more energy. Now, of course, when you look at the fourth week, then of course those upon the secondary wave of energies will experience the third week and what we have just shared in that fourth week. But of course, those that are in the first or initial wave will start perceiving some of the energies of relationships and community and family and close proximity, entities, relationships, communities. Yes, this is part of the experience, but also direct experiences and reactivity to those experiences will be able to be perceived in a clearer form of energy. Your own consciousness as it works throughout the entirety of the month, with your ups and downs of energy, with your contractions and release. It will also come back into your self-understanding, where it started at the beginning of your month with first knowing and feeling yourself. At the end of the month, there will be recognition that the journey is made. There will be a recognition that you know greater energies and issues that need to be dealt with in the future will be present, and you will accept that journey rather than that of hiding from it, where you may have in the first week of that experience, where it felt overwhelming. In that time it will be somewhat more at ease. Now, of course, the archetypes of energy of warriors, those that worry consistently, those who are built mentally in that state of concern and worry, of course you will still feel that energy. Anxiety will be present, but of course understand that your sensitivity and empathy inside of your own energetic body, simply attuning to the possibility of new ways to react, so it is acceptable by your own consciousness, it is accepted by your own emotional and mental state. And once you clear your own self-understanding and patience in that time, it will come full circle in that way. Now, of course, the greater experience and that expression as you perceive the entirety of new secrets that become revealed, understanding the greater planetary consciousness, understanding that which was left in the dark, you can see upon the macro and micro level that it had to start internally first and then manifest itself outward. We also wish for all of you who remember the waves of energy in your experience, what now is taking in 1 month time frame to manifest from what is within to what is without 5 years ago may have taken multiple months. 10 years ago may have taken a year. 20 years ago may have taken multiple years for these types of energies to manifest, but all of you now are fourth density beings living a third density experience. All of you are within a rate of consciousness accelerated beyond what you are used to and what you are aware. And of course it does not slow from here. The intensity of the transition may have slowed, but the new manifestational energy in your own consciousness, comparative to that collective, will always go faster. And the more that you work with yourself, the more you will see that recognition, external consciousness next to you. Now, of course, as you enter your next month time period, simply be aware of your emotional body, be aware of how you react to energies, and be aware what those that are closest to you in your life, in your community, in your work, in your co-created experience are mirroring back to you. And instead of holding reaction, start working with receptivity to that energy, receptivity to your understanding of that energy, and then of course work with your heart in accordance. We wish to bid all of you adieu for this day, and not only are all of you loved, but we love you as well, and the recognition that as we co-create with all of you, you learn more about yourself, so too do we learn about ourselves in that co-creation. We congratulate all of you for your growth, and of course we thank you for ours as well. We bid you adieu.